Welcome back to Inspirational Women. This week, we speak to Amina Hendricks about balancing her academic endeavors with her responsibilities as a young entrepreneur. Then we speak to community activists Nomfundo and Nastasha about the incredible sacrifices they make in order to make the world a better place. And lastly, we speak to Tanya Williams about how she overcame severe life challenges to start her very own salon.
Daar word altyd lelik gepraat van ons jongspan, maar dit is 'n absoluut lekker ding vir my om te hoor wanneer van ons jongspan dan besluit om die regte pad te loop. Assalamu alaikum, hallo en hartlike welkom by Inspirational Women. Ek is Abida Dixon Mohammed en my gas vandag is die jonge dame met die naam van Amina Hendricks. Assalamu alaikum Amina.
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Maar ek moet sê, ek hou daarom van jou mooi styletjie en jou doekie wat so pragtig is,
Auntie Abida, also look nice, mashallah.
Ag nee, maar moet nou nie worry oor my nie, dit gaan nou eintlik vandag oor jou. Amina, soos ek nou net gesê het by die intro daarso, ek is bly om te sien en te kan hoor dat van ons jongspan het daarom nog die wilskrag om nie altyd van die pad af te gaan nie, maar dat hulle dan verkies om dan die pad te loop saam met Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Nou jy studeer dan hier by IPSA. Gee gou vir my die volle naam van IPSA.
Okay, so IPSA is called the International Peace College of South Africa, and it's a college which allows you to study your deen and learn more about Allah.
Okay, en wat is dit wat jy studeer?
Okay, so I'm studying the HCIS course. It's a Islamic course which goes more into detail into your deen. The subjects that I am doing is Aqidah, Fiqh, Devotional Arabic, Seerah, interpersonal relations and meanings of Quran, as well as GLOW and ADP.
Sure, dis nogal baie om te onthou vir al, hè? Maar dan, hoe lank is hierdie kursus nou?
Okay, so this course that I am doing, it's a year-long course. Yes, and if you cannot do the year, we split it into 2 years. We can study part-time.
Ek wil daarom nou net sê, dis nou baie subjects vir 1 jaar. So, en wat sê jy? Jy kan dit krak?
Alhamdulillah, I think I'm managing. I'm still trying. I'm being consistent. Yes, inshallah.
Wel, ek moet daarin sê van jou houding, jou self, gaan ek daarom sê, dit lyk asof jy dit baie geniet.
Alhamdulillah, I think I am. Yes, I am.
Okay, nou laat ek gou hierdie vraagie daarin vra. Kom ons sê die menere en die juffrouens hier, is hulle baie streng?
Okay, so the lecturers, alhamdulillah, they are okay.
Yes.
They have their ways of getting us to do the work, alhamdulillah, and it's helping. And you can also speak to them, feel free to speak to them because they are open-minded also, and they are very nice people.
Wel, kan jy nou sien, hè? Die wet sê dat jy nie meer die kinders mag slaan nie, maar ek dink 'n skewe kyk doen ook die werk. Nou, Amina, jy is dan nou hier en ek moet sê dit lyk sommer baie wonderlik. Die buitekant het ek dan nou gesien en dis die eerste keer wat ek dan nou ook hier aankom en so aan en so aan. En ons gaan nou nie praat van wat ons agter die skerms gesels het en al die tipe van goeie sê. Maar het jy daarom, kom ek sê, vriende wat vir jou bystaan of wat jy dalk miskien kan bystaan?
Like I say, so I have friends at IPSA, and it's my first time that I have so much friends as girls because I don't engage with friends.
Why
Normally I do stuff on my own because I'm independent, alhamdulillah. But also you shouldn't be very independent and listen to other people's opinions. So there is a girl on this campus, Zahra Kasim. Okay, so for the past year, alhamdulillah, we've become very close. And then also in class, there are various other friends, for example, Masouda, Adams, she's yes, moral support, and yeah.
Meisies, het julle nou gehoor, sy het julle name genoem, né? Nou Amina, jy is dan ook, jy het dan ook die kennis van besigheid en jy's nog so jong. As ek nou gou sommer vir jou mag vra, kom ek sê, jy kry dalk miskien 'n difficult customer. Hoe hanteer jy daai persoon?
Okay, so that difficult customer, you always get that one person that comes out of nowhere with his moods, and you try to be good, so at least you try to relate to that problem that that person is having. So maybe I say, yo, it's not the other day about words, and that people they're so terrible and they have bad customer service, and then afterwards I'll try and divert him and come back to the topic and be like, I'll see if we have what Auntie's looking for, and I will look for it in, and if we don't have it, I'll just refer them to someone else.
Kan jy kwaad word?
Yes, I can. I'm very short-tempered.
Regtig? Sy lyk aan so onskuldig.
I'm very short-tempered, but I try to keep myself humble because it's a sunnah to be humble. And if someone is picking on you, it's best to talk away instead of aggravating them.
Nou jy noem dan nou short-tempered, maar dink jy dan ook dat die Islamic studies natuurlik en wat ons leer van die dien van Islam help ons dan ook om baie meer beter vir ons uit te druk en te dra?
So yes, it does help because you learn about Islam, and Islam is all about peace. So salah is key, communication is key, and to be kind.
To be kind is een ding, maar baie keer dan voel jy net nie so kind om te wees nie.
Yes, the times are there.
Maar kom ek sê nou, jy is nou, kom ons praat nou van 'n winkel byvoorbeeld. Jy's nou in die winkel en hier kom ek nou in en soos ons nou net gepraat het van daai moeilike persoon nou, né? Nou gaan 'n een vir jou 'n lelike woord sê, nie eers met sy moods nie, maar met 'n lelike woord. Hoe reageer jy daarop?
Okay, so to be honest, I will look at you now and I will just walk away. I will just walk away. And if you have a problem, call the manager and you can deal with the manager. But don't come with your moods to me because I did nothing wrong.
Nou gaan die persoon miskien vir jou sê, "Oh, but the customer is always right." Wat is jou antwoord?
No, the customer is not always right, Auntie Abida.
Why?
They should listen to your opinions also. I mean, you work with whatever else. And if you have experience, you should at least share it. But if you don't know what they were speaking about, then say nothing. But the customer is not always right.
Ek hoop julle vat notisie daarso, né, wat sy sê. Maar ek dink in 'n way is sy reg. Ons los dit maar daarso. Nou, Amina, jy is dan nog so jonk en ek moet sê ek is baie beïndruk en ek gebruik die woord elke keer om te sê beïndruk, want net soos ons voorheen genoem het om te sê, van ons jong span het baie van ons ouers dan kom ons sê probleme. Maar jy en dan van jou ander vriende voel dan julle wil miskien 'n beter pad stap. Dink jy dit is dan baie belangrik dan ook vir ouers om hulle kinders daai samewerking te gee?
Because Auntie Abida, everyone is different, right? And no one should judge but Allah. So there's something Allah says in the Quran, "Oh people, you should do whatever good deed you can, for Allah does not get tired of giving reward. When you get tired, and the most beloved of good deeds to Allah are those deeds that are done with consistency, even if it's little. In the family of the Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam would carry out an act, they would persist and carry it out with consistency. So always be persevere. It does not matter where you come from or what you are doing. Always keep in mind that you are able to achieve that one goal that you want to. Even if you are negligent of your salah, try to at least make 1 or 2 walks a day. It really helps. Because Allah says, come, turn to me, and I will never get tired of you.
Nou kan jy sien, sy is nog so jonk, en die inspirerende woorde wat sy klaar gee, dit wys jou net, nie, sy ken haar storie. En wie wil dan nou nie ook dan nou leer van sulke jongs van haar af, nie? Nou, Amina, is jy goed in die kombuis?
What, Yapida, again, want to talk about Peru? No. I try. But I can say yes, I love baking. But the cooking part, I don't think that's for me, no.
Maar sê gou vir my, hoe loop jou dag van dat jy opstaan soggens totdat jy gaan slaap vanaand?
Okay, so in the morning, I have to wake up. Obviously make fajr. Get done. It's so cold in the morning We have to
Zorg vir
yes. And I have to make sure that I get the lift in the morning to campus. So then I come to campus, and then the day go. If it goes okay, alhamdulillah, it goes okay.
If it goes
doesn't,
okay.
if it is okay. If it's not, alhamdulillah, I think you must just accept and be happy. And then I need to get back home. And I get home, and my mommy will say, do the dishes or do this. And there's times that I like just don't want to do anything. I can't help it, but I just don't listen sometimes. And I try to be obedient. Everyone must try, and yeah, we understand. Okay, then I do that, then I will lay. Then I will fall asleep. I'll forget about my homework. When I come to campus the next day, I'll realize, but I didn't do my homework. And there's this one lecturer, Sheikh Fakhruddin.
Yes.
Then he will say, they cut your homeworks. And then I'm sitting there and I'm like, Sheikh, but I did not do my homework.
Dan wat doen jy op daai moment?
That moment, I just write anything just to fill that page. And then also there's this one lecturer, Sheikh Wahib, he gives us devotion Arabic. Very, very nice, mashallah. We need to memorize certain du'as and stuff. And when you don't know it, then you like just sit there and you're like, I'm coming now. Well, do it tomorrow, Sheikh. And he's like, hey, must come.
Okay.
Just keep that in mind.
Maar nou die feit dat jy nou noem, jy skryf sommer enigiets in. As jy dan enigiets inskryf, is dit dan ooit reg?
I don't know, it's just words. If you see a paragraph, I just mark and we'll pause. Then I know I'm fine.
Nou, hoe laat maak jou klasse dan oor die dag dan klaar?
Okay, so our class is in at 3:05, depending if we have lectures the day, then we can go home earlier. But further than that, it's fine. It keeps you occupied. Alhamdulillah.
Maar ek is daarom bly om te sien, mami gee daarom nog vir jou huiswerk by die huis ook. Plus, jy kry jou eie huiswerk wat jy nou nog moet saamvat. So, jy vat die gappie vat jy daar, maar jy weet dan ook nee, dit moet gedoen word. So, lecturers, julle het nou gehoor wat sy sê, né? En sy was nie skaam om te sê baie keer doen sy dit nie, maar moet maar net te hard wees op haar nie, solang sy dit maar nou net doen. Amina, die laaste paar sekondes, wat se raad het jy omtrent vir ons jeug?
To our youth out there, don't be afraid of doing what you want. Go for it, and if you can't, at least try, because you never know if you don't do it. So communication is key, and turn to Allah if you don't know. Make salatul istikhara, and inshallah Allah will guide you, and you will know what to do afterwards.
Amen, amen. Wel, wat meer kan ek sê van so 'n jong dame wat 'n storie ken? Tot ek volgende keer weer met u gesels. Mooi bly. Ek is Abida Dixon Mohammed. Totsiens. Wassalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May the peace, blessings and mercy be with you and your loved ones, wherever you are. I'm Najwa Muhammad Ladi and welcome to Inspirational Women. I'm very fortunate today not to have one, but two inspirational ladies. And let me introduce you to them. Good morning, my beautiful, lovely ladies.
Morning, Najwa.
How are you?
We're good. Yes, we're fine. Thank you. And how are you today?
I'm great. Beautiful scenery. Oh, yes. Mother City, Cape Town, South Africa. What more can we ask for? Nomfundo Mdingi, as well as Natasha Solomon. Thank you for accepting the invitation. Two great ladies once again.
Thank you.
Nomfundo, maybe I must start with you. I think you're the bit senior one when it comes to Natasha. Not that it looks like that. You're looking absolutely beautiful.
I am the mother.
That's the mother figure. Thank you so much. Nomfundo, maybe you can just tell our viewers briefly about yourself. I know you were born in Cape Town, but you were raised in Eastern Cape.
Yes.
Talk to us a little bit about that. Then we'll give the young lady a chance.
Okay. As you mentioned, I was born here in Cape Town, but because of the previous things which we all know around Cape Town, we won't say. So I went to stay in Eastern Cape with my aunt in Lady Fresh specifically. And when I grew up there, First of all, I didn't know that they were not my parents, my aunt and her husband. So there were two cousins of mine. They treated me as their own little sister. When we do all the things as we were growing up, I just remember that we used to have called poppies.
Yes, I remember you mentioned that work.
I was
Okay.
the mother. And I had a friend where also the same situation with me. She was sent by her mom. We're still friends still now. So whenever I talked to her, I said, what do you remember about me as a little child? I said, I remember when we played poppies, the mother, we used to fetch wood in the mountains, and then I'll lead and say, now we break, now we can go, we move, do that and that. And then during the time when we were playing in the community, I'll share my little clothes. I didn't have too much. My mom was working as a domestic in Cape Town, so the clothes which she's getting from my work will come to me. Then I'll share with the community. We were not rich, we were poor, and we live from the food from the fields. So whenever we get something, I'll make it a point that everyone got something.
And that was from a young age you were like that.
Between the ages of 7 up until I was still a baby, but when I look back now, I think I was more a mother from that time. I was more a little bit of caring for others without knowing that I want to be a carer at my later stage. Then I grew and I studied there, and even my high school. Then I went to the University of Transkei to study social work.
Was that difficult? Because if you look back now, back then, to go and study, but can you just maybe hold there, stop there? I just want to, but we'll continue with that, because that must be very interesting, back then to study was something very unique. So we'll talk about that a little bit later. Natasha Solomon, beautiful young lady, you're also in the corporate world, but you just have this passion for the community, in particular girls. Talk to us a little bit about your upbringing.
So, Natasha Solomon, now known as Natasha Nelson back then. Okay. So I'm married now. I'm a mom of 2 beautiful boys. I grew up in Bishop Lavis, Cape Flats, and I often say to people when I even start my workshops, do you know where the airport is? Well, that's where I grew up, because it's right next to the airport. And I schooled at Greenlands Primary, and then thereafter went to John Ramsey High. So I had a difficult upbringing as a child, reared by a single parent, and wow, she was very strict. But I think she, to the utmost of her ability, she tried really to raise my brother and I to the best way possible, in only her motherly instinct could do. So yeah, that's in a nutshell where I come from.
Yes, proudly. And both of you are, as I mentioned, corporate ladies. You've got secure jobs as well. Nomfundo, studying back then, was it difficult? Did you have the money to go and study? Was there bursaries?
It was very difficult. First of all, I went to Mthatha, where I didn't have anybody, a relative or anybody. Took my case and went down there. Luckily, my mom, as a domestic worker, she had a very good employer.
Okay.
So when I started to register, I had the registration fee. Which, while I was standing on the queue, I lost it. But luckily, because I talked too much, somebody picked it up, and when I was asking, so this guy who was from PE came back and said, here's your money. Then I struggled for the first year because there was no bursary, no nothing. But I got TEFSA at that time. Then I managed to pay for my fees. That was not easy because I have to travel between Cape Town and Eastern Cape, and my siblings, because my mom was a domestic worker and my dad was working at South African breweries at that time, and the salary was not good to support everyone. So I'm the eldest with the family. So with the money, so we are 4 siblings. With the money I'll get, I'll also save and share with them to send so that they can get something for their studies, my brother and my 2 siblings. So it was not an easy thing. And it was worse. I was far, far away from home. So whatever I have, Mama used to send me 100 rands as my pocket money for the month.
And I believe Mom is still alive today?
Yes.
Probably very proud of her beautiful daughter.
Of course. So that 100 rand I have to make means. And while I was varsity, I started my own, because we would eat at the dining hall, but I didn't like the food. So I started to cook my own meals in the room. So other people will come and share. And I realized at a later stage that, you are more into people, because I was not in choir, but I was, after the music practice. People will come and I'll say, no, that note is not good. That note is good. So I was kind of leading things which I was not even directly involved with. So I realized that, I've got passion when it comes to the people. But it was not easy, but I managed. Where you make relationship with people, you talk to people. When you don't have something, you don't sit back and say, I'm going to sit in my little corner. I'll raise and go to people and say, listen, I don't have this and that, and people give me those who have.
Great. And you also teach them the skill now these days to get out of that dark place, because you're also a motivational speaker, you're a counselor. But let me just get to Natasha as well. Natasha, you're part of a very great project. I did read up a little bit about it, but you are the specialist in that, the Princess Project. If you can give us a brief insight of that project.
So like many young girls, they go off and study. Like Mfundo said, I didn't have that opportunity. So I literally volunteered my way into a job. I volunteered wherever there was a space, And so volunteering for me is big on my agenda. And then after volunteering, I realized, what else can I do? My mom kept on saying to me, you're going to work, but nothing is coming in. But what she didn't know is that is how I was building my relationship with people. So I volunteered on many projects, meaning from working with the Archbishop, doing admin, I called myself a runner, literally.
Yes.
So to get to the Princess Project, I was just in my office one day sitting, and I heard one of my colleagues saying how stressed she is about her child's matric ball coming up. And I just looked at her and I said to her, don't worry, I'll make it happen. And I don't know what made me say that, And then I said to myself, what am I going to do? I don't even have a plan. And then I just thought to myself, I'm sure there's help online. And then I started, how can you help? With children who don't
have the underprivileged kids.
Absolutely. And then I discovered the Princess Project. So the Princess Project has been there for a while. It's not something that was born because of what I do. And I made contact with the lady. Her name is Erika Pinar. And then I called her up and we had a meeting. And upon our first meeting, she said to me, and I mean, she lives in Welgemoot, and the people that needed the dress, they live in Ocean View. So that's quite a distance. So she says to myself, she only met us that day. She says to myself and my colleague, you know what? You guys can have these dresses. You can bring it back when you're ready. So this must have been over a period of 3 to 4 months. Then I said to my colleague, okay, I'll take it back, seeing that I'm a little bit closer. So I took it back, and then Erika gave me one look, and she said to me, I want you to start Princess Project Mitchell's Play. And I'm like, me? Are you sure you're talking to me? And she says, no, I want you to start it. And at the time, I had other plans in mind. I was considering, should I have another baby? What should I do? Because I was working already, and I just had my son. And in my mind, motherhood and all the other things it kept me too busy. And I spoke to my husband about it, and you know how the males in our life, really casually, just said, oh, if you want to do it, go for it. Eventually, I phoned Erika up, and upon first phone call, 2 days later, Erika was at my house with all these dresses. So I literally got my first batch handed over to me from Erika.
So is it only the dresses that you give to the matric the matric ball girls?
So we give dresses, we give shoes, we give bags, and we give jewelry where we can. So I started off very rough, not knowing what I was doing, because I wanted to see so many people and trying to help everybody. And I soon realized you need to put structure to this. So now I see people by appointment only.
Professional.
Yes, and I see them on a Saturday. I am right now, as we're speaking, I've just put a proposal together asking for a space even. I've written to 2 or 3 of the local schools in the community, because schools are always the hubs where a lot of things are happening. So I'm hoping that some good news will come out of that. But being part of the Princess Project, I can say that I see how that young girl literally becomes a princess on the night. I see how that dress or that one item that she have on literally changes her look and how she looks at herself. I've seen girls from having nothing, coming into my house. I do see the girls at my house, literally shy, walking in. They can't even look up. And so I start, encouraging them, asking how they're feeling, even speaking to them about the exams. And I find that interaction is key. And so many times you know how we do it in the color community. We have this whole big bash on the night of the matric ball.
The whole
And
community
for me,
comes.
in particular, I love the part where the community comes and they bring it together. And so I go and I literally stand in awe how this dress literally have transformed.
Changed completely.
This young girl.
Fantastic. We're going to talk more about it, Natasha, because I also want to know in terms if there's a cost attached to it. But we need to go for a quick short ad break, inshallah. But when we're back, we'll be talking more to this amazing ladies. Stay with us. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome back to Inspirational Women. I'm still sitting with these two amazing ladies, Namfunda as well as Natasha, and we're going to talk more about that. Before we took our break, Natasha mentioned about the Princess Project, which is a great initiative, and she's running the Mitchell's Plain area in Cape Town, South Africa. Natasha, I need to ask you, all of this glamorous gowns and shoes and bags and hair and makeup, there must be a cost to that. Talk to us about that.
So after I've gone through the process of letting them fit on and making them feel comfortable, I do have that one-on-one interaction with the girls. And 9 out of 10, I have the mother who's feeling that she needs to make the decision ultimately. So I try and gear out of, because we need to also, create an awareness for young girls that you can make your own choices in life. So they go through the whole process, filling in the application form, etc. And then I sort of turn the ball and I ask them, so what is it that you can give back to the Princess Project, And then I make them aware of, we each and every one of us have something to give back. So I had found that people had given back of their own, either their attire, dresses or shoes that they don't use anymore, jewelry and bags, because these are all items that I need in demand. Often I find also that, yes, whilst the girls perhaps go out on the matric ball night, I find that maybe one item come back, one earring, one shoe. So there's always need for me to stock up on new items, And I suppose,
enjoy them too much.
Oh, of course, yes, especially if they're perhaps not used to walking on high
heels and these glamorous gowns and things, eh?
Sometimes you do get a girly girl, and sometimes you get a girl that's more in a pants, So you have to really balance it out very nicely. I've had a few corporates come along and ask how can they give back, especially if they've identified a girl in the community that perhaps need an item from us. And on one such occasion, I asked this young man if he can buy me stationery to the amount of, for about 10 to 12 children. And in that way, I ensure that at least for the new year, that the children had stationery, And what I did was, I asked the parents who were recipients, together with the children, to write to me, why do they need the stationery?
Yeah, give a little motivation.
And not just a handout, because we've come a long way of people just getting handouts, and so I've tried to move away from it. In fact, in most of the other projects I'm also involved with.
Okay, great, man. Love it, absolutely love it. And I'm sure, and I hope, we're going to get so many of our viewers that will definitely respond to ITV and to assist, because this is a continuous project. Beautiful Namfundo, you're a graduate, you're such a beautiful girl. And I'm sure, you've got a good position, a secured position currently. And my question is, why do you give of your time and effort and money to give back to the community? You don't need to.
Thank you, Naja. I think when I grew up in rural, as I said earlier on, rural areas. And what I've picked up is that nobody knows how much they have inside them until somebody reach out and talk to them. So I do my workshop on a voluntary basis also. I don't ask for costing. I only ask people to organize a venue. If it's a group of people, if it's individuals, I'll meet them at their own space where they feel comfortable. I do it because it's something which is fulfilling to me. It's something which is my work which I'm doing, I love it. but it doesn't fulfill what is inside me. So I'm doing that to make sure that I'm making a difference to the next person. The idea is to make sure that people understand who they are and to be better person than where they were in the day before. So it's just the passion which I think it's something which I grew up with, and now as I grew up I feel that I need to make it work for other people.
Yes. And I believe you also teach them how to love themselves, really, because it starts with you. Talk to us about that. If there's a broken person or somebody, because I believe you also do rape counseling, we're not going to reveal anything in terms of confidentiality. When you approach a rape survivor, how that must be terrible for a mommy like you. How do you keep that professionalism to help this victim?
Thank you, Naja. I think, each case is different. Each case is different, and it's how the person receives your touching, you reaching out to them. So the first thing I tell people is to make sure that they need to understand that they are the priority in their lives. Even if something has happened to you, but it doesn't define who you are. Even somebody says something to you, it doesn't define who you are. I take people through to look inside. What has happened before? Where you are? How do you feel right now? And when it comes to those feelings, it's not an easy, it's very traumatic, I must be honest. It's very traumatic because people cannot raise what has happened. But I try and do my best to build up in terms of self-awareness, self-confidence, self-love. I take people through to understand who they are, because most of the time you feel I'm a victim. This has happened to me, nobody loves me. And I teach people, how do you love yourself? How do you engage with you? Through a mirror, through pep talk, through showing other people that you are better than what they think, to take ownership of your life. Recently, I've been dealing with 3-4 cases of suicide, which is very, very traumatic. And most people, they are having depression, and people walk without knowing anything. And we don't even sometimes know. I always tell people, when I walk down the road, my kids, if I go to a mall, they say, "Oh, Mom, you said you're going to this shop." I said, "Yes, my child." But if it happens, I meet people along the road, please.
You talk to everybody.
I greet people because I always have this feeling, this person might be planning something in his or her own head. But if I disturb this person, he's going to say, somebody cares. And I greet with a smile and say, "Hi." And I move on. And the person look back and say, but this person out of knowing me. And that's one of the things I make it a point. I rap to other person to say, just greet. The person's either say hi back or just wonder why. Why is this? Why? And it's priceless.
It's priceless. I can see even you becoming emotional talking about it. That is how passionate you are, where it comes to our communities. And I believe you started with the motivational talks in churches, schools.
It's very interesting. Me and Natasha met somewhere, work related. But I also go to a church. I do a couple of talks in my church also. But I was shocked when I got a call from Natasha's mom to come. Her mom.
So the mom is friends with her now.
Yes. She called me to say they've got a women's month. It was women's month. And I was invited to do a speech. And first of all, no matter how many speeches you do, you become nervous. Because you ask, am I going to send a right message to the people? Am I going to be relevant? Am I going to be on point? Then I said, no, I won't be able to this and that. And it's Catholic church. And, I'm Presbyterian. It's all of those things. But I went to the church. And when I got to the church, the response from the people, they wanted, even the priest wanted me to ask, will you be available next year? Can we have more events? So I do those things. I do the individuals, I do churches, groups, friends. I had a group of cancer survivors at one stage where they were battling to accept cancer. And the few people which I have part of that, they're still part of my life. I continue talking to them on a daily basis, just part of making sure that I motivate them. So,
and talking about rates, your rates must be very expensive because you're so glam.
Thank you. Unfortunately, I don't price. There's no price. I do things on a voluntary basis. If somebody gives me whatever, like Natasha mentioned earlier, if somebody gives me whatever, I'll make it a point I am donating somewhere.
Yeah.
So there's no price to what I do. I know people will think if I have to go and do this thing, there must be money to be paid. But because it's my passion, I want to make a difference. So I cannot put any price towards.
I must also reveal, I met Natasha probably a year ago at a Muslim Islamic Hadat, a gathering. And we were all sitting there praising Almighty Allah and our beloved Prophet Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And she was there with this beautiful shining face with her duk on. And this is what I love about you, both of you ladies. The respect is eminent. We can feel it. It's tangible. And this is what we must give back to our communities all the time. Ladies, I don't think we have much time, but I need to also ask you in terms of future plans, briefly, Natasha, what is the future? We know God is in control of our future, but what's your future plans?
So Nomfundo and I have been at a few events together. Let's not reveal too much at this stage. And we've observed so many women in need, be it just somebody to talk to, somebody to hold them. I have discovered how, as women, there's not enough self-care even out there. And so we've observed and we've watched the spaces, and together we are planning a pampering day for women that we've gone to a conference to. I don't even think these women know who they are, to be quite honest. We've discussed, we're busy planning it now, and so we're looking at those opportunities for women. We've also started, and this is in a minute way, Nomfundo said to me, "You're going to need a hotel." I said, "No, we're only going to take 15, We want to create a weekend away for women just to love themselves. Absolutely. Just to spend time with themselves.
That's great.
I've sent the initial WhatsApp messages and the response has been amazing.
Well, you've got another lady on board. Must be part of it.
To the extent that we're already sitting on 2 groups. Yeah.
Nomfundo, we've got less than a minute, my darling. Inspirational message from your side to the world.
I think my motto is reach out and touch to somebody's life so you can make a difference. So that's my message. Great. Whatever you have, the little you have, I always feel if you share who you are with other people, it makes a difference to others.
It does. Thank you very much, my sweetheart. Natasha, your motivational message to the world.
I actually have it up in my office. It's called Self-Transformation Help Others Grow. So if you look at yourself, first change within, and then in that way you allow other people to grow as well.
Ladies, thank you very much. I'm deeply honored to be in your presence, and I'm sure our viewers will really benefit from this wonderful interview that we had. May God be with you and bless you. Thank you very much. It's only a great pleasure. Well, I'm sure you've enjoyed this incredible interview with 2 amazing, inspiring women. From myself, Najwa Muhammad Ladi, and Nomfundo, and Natasha, I want to wish you a beautiful week ahead. Fi amanillah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Ek glo daaraan dat jy moet nooit skaam wees om te sê waar en van watter area jy is nie. As dit 'n area is wat jy dink dis nie goed nie, so wat? Daar's geen probleem met daai nie. Die punt is, wat gaan jy omtrent aan die saak doen? En as jy top uitgekom het, onthou net, moet nooit ooit vergeet waar vandaan jy kom nie. Assalamu alaikum, hallo en hartlike welkom by Inspirational Woman. Ek is Abida Dixon Mohammed en my gas vandag is Tanya Williams en sy is natuurlik van dieselfde area as ek, Elsies Rivier. Hallo Tanya.
Goeiemôre.
Goeiemôre. Wel ek moet daarom sê weet, ek het net nou vroeër nou so lekker gesels en ons het nou so gegrap oor al die tipe van goeders en waar vandaan ons kom en so aan en so aan. Maar vandag gesels ek 'n bietjie hier met jou. Want jy het toe nou besluit, alhoewel ons nou in hierdie area bly en dit gaan miskien 'n bietjie rof hier en daar, gee dit dan nog altyd vir ons die reg om 'n bietjie te dink ons is agter en ons moet agter bly nie. Jy het dan toe besluit om 'n besigheid op die been te bring vir jou. Watse tipe tipe besigheid is dit? Want ek wil nou nie vir almal nou maar uitbrei en so aan nie. Vertel gou vir ons kykers.
Okay, dis 'n salon. Ek het begin ek het hier en daar gewerk oral in die Elsies. En toe besluit ek nou om hier by Shoprite is die salon oop te maak.
Okay. Maar toe jy nou die dag besluit nou maar, okay, hairdresser. Ek meen baie van ons is mos nou in daai tipe van goeders is. Ons het 'n spesifieke ding wat ons wil doen, maar dan doen ons mos nou iets anders. Het jy iets anders gedoen voordat jy besluit het nee, hairdresser is jou ding?
Ja, ek het gewerk vir 7 jaar in die Parel by Olympic Vlei, skoeneplek. En toe het ek daar klaar gemaak en toe dink ek nee man, ek wil in die haarbedryf gaan en toe het ek begin werk in die Elsies en daar het ek begin te.
Okay. Nou toe jy nou inkom nou by daai hairdresser en jy kyk daai hairdresser nou so. Het jy toe nou besluit, nee, dis 'n ding wat ek moet voortgaan of moet ek maar omdry want dit lyk 'n bietjie baie woelig hier.
Nee, aan die begin was ek 'n bietjie baie nervus. En toe besluit ek gaan eendag gaan ek my eie besigheid oopmaak. Dit het tyd gevat, maar ek het daar gekom.
Sjoe, maar nou sien jy daai is nou net mooi. Die persepsie wat jy gehad het, ek gaan. En jy het geglo daaraan dat jy kan. So vandag het jy nou toe nou besluit, nee, hier is dit my besigheid en so aan. Hoe lank is julle nou al hier op die been?
Ons is nou om en by 8 maande.
Okay, so julle is maar nog in die beginstadium. Maar ek moet daarom sê ek is baie beïndruk met julle want ek sien julle lyk amper soos 'n one-stop shop soos hulle sal sê. Want glo dit of nie, sy het die hairdresser hier, dan het sy iemand aangevat wat die barberwerk kan doen, die man se hare kan sny, en dan het sy ook dan nou iemand gekry wat dan nou ook nou mense se gesiggies en se naaltjies kan doen. So alles in een hierso. En ek dink dis wonderlik want ek dink sommige mense kry altyd een plek wat al hierdie goeders kan doen nie. Maar nou Tanya, om ons nou so 'n ding te bestuur, dan maak jy mos nou ook mense wat vir jou werk. Hoeveel staf het jy miskien?
Ek het op die oomblik as ek wat self werk het, dan is daar nog 'n stylist en die operator en die barber. So ons is 4.
Alright. So ek hoor nou net sy sê sy werk ook self, so sy's nog nie die baasie.
Nee, ek moet myself noem ek is 'n baas.
Ja, want soos hulle sal sê, 'n besigheid wat jy begin, kos baie harde werk. En natuurlik dan moet jy jouself baie werk insit om dit dan 'n sukses te maak, nee.
Ja, dit kos baie werk.
Maar nou Tanya, ons bly dan in 'n area wat nou nie altyd so vir almal nou iets is en so aan nie. Maar hoekom het jy dan te besluit om nou hierdie besigheid op die been te bring in die area waar ons bly en nie dalk miskien in die Ladi-Daa area sê?
Maar soos ek sê, die mense hier is so bevoorreg. En my pryse is maar bekostigbaar. En ek ken almal en almal ken van my. Dis maar baie.
En het jy daarom familieondersteunings en daai tipe van goeders?
My man help my ja, af en toe kom hy in en dan help my waar hy kan.
Okay. So hy blou hare.
Nee, hy blou nog nie hare nie.
Ek meen maar hy sal nogal lekker gewees het om te
sy
sien.
kan help, ja.
Maar nou dan ek sien dan nou ook jou stelletjies en goeders wat jy dan probeer om nou hier in te sit en te doen, is pragtig. So hoe het jy toe, ek sien is maroon en ander kleur swart en so aan. Hoe het jy toe nou besluit op die kleurskema?
Ek hou van maroon en swart en die wit is maar net om hom 'n bietjie uit te bring.
Okay. Ek moet daarom sê dit is vir my te oulik. Ek hou van die setup en daai tipe van goeders. Maar weet jy, ek sê altyd, soos ek nou net gesê het, dat 'n mens moet nooit skaam wees om te sê waarvandaan jy kom nie. Of baie mense sê eerder, hulle weet nie waarvandaan hulle kom nie. Of hulle weet waarvandaan hulle kom, maar hulle wil nou nie sê nie, maar hulle weet baie goed waarna toe hulle op pad is en daai tipe van goeders. Nou ek weet ons praat nie nou nog oor die dag van môre nie, want jy weet nie of jy môre gaan leef nie. Maar kom ons sê miskien waar sien jy jouself dalk miskien kom ek sê in 'n jaar sit.
In 'n jaar se tyd voel ek wil agteroor lê, ek wil 'n bietjie rus, ek wil nog staf aanvat. Dat hulle 'n bietjie van my kan werk, maar ek sê nie ek is 'n baas nie.
Wel, het julle nou daai gehoor? Sy het 'n droom en sy het 'n visie, so who knows? Dit kan gebeur. Maar as jy nou praat nou van jy soek nou meer 'n staf by die einde van die dag, dan gaan jy seker nou miskien met 'n groter plek kry en daai tipe van goeders. Dink jy dit sal miskien so oor, kom ek sê nou oor 'n jaar. 'n Jaar is maar baie kort. So daar's nie veel wat in 'n jaar se tyd kan Yes, want ons sê so, maar die tyd is net te kort en daai. So op hierdie oomblik is jy daarom heeltemal tevrede met jouself en waar jy staan.
Ja, soos ek sê, ek wil nie nog baie hê en ek wil ook nie baie uitbrei nie. Ons is maar, hoe kan ek nou sê? Ons is maar arm, ons is klein, ons is ek is tevrede met wat ek het.
Dis nou amper soos, jy gaan vra maar van Titania, bietjie suiker aan Titania gaan gee. Maar Talia sê gou vir my hoe, wat is jou tye wat jy jou salon oopmaak en toemaak?
Okay, maandags is ons toe en dan begin ons van 8:00 af tot 5:00.
En Saterdags en Sondags?
Saterdag en Sondag. Saterdag is dit ook 8:00 tot 5:00 en Sondags is dit van 8:00 tot 1:00.
Tot 1:00. Cool. So maandag is daai relax dag.
Ons relax op 'n maand.
Okay, alright. En nou as jy nou daarom nou daai relaxing nou kry, wat is dit wat jy doen vir die dag wat jy nou wil ontspan?
As jy veel om te doen nie. Ontspan. Okay, ek ontspan nie baie by die huisie, want dan moet ek wasgoed was, ek moet kos maak. Moet die kinders reg sien. So ek relax eintlik.
Maar ek moet daarom sê dat ek is seker jy kry daarom miskien hou jy van lees?
Nee.
Hou jy nie van lees?
Ek hou nie van lees nie.
En as ons nou in die huisstorie gaan stryd, hou jy daarom van stryd?
Nee, ek hou nie van stryd nie. Ek sal kos maak en hy skoonmaak, maar stryk en okay, ek gee my wasgoed om te was.
Alright, dis daarom iets om te doen. Maar nou, as ons nou praat nou van, okay nou, maandag is verby, nou begin jou dinsdag, woensdag, donderdag, vrydag en dan natuurlik Saterdag en Sondag. So nou is jy 'n bietjie baie bedrywig. By die einde van die dag is jou voete mos seker lekker seer.
O ja, van die hele dag staan, ja, dat is baie pynlik. Van 'n relax ek maar skop vir skoentjies uit, 'n bietjie soutwater.
Ek wou nou net vra, wat gebruik jy dan om my voetjies 'n bietjie te relax? Soutwater. Manlief, as hy so sit met hy soutwater, kom jy daarom 'n bietjie nader, bring jy handdoek en was die voetjies en vee dit af. Ek vra maar net, hoor.
Hy moet dit uitsleep.
Maar ek moet daarom sê, dit is baie lekker met jou te gesels in verband met hierdie storie en daai tipe van goeders. Maar hairdresser was nou jou ding en daarvan het jy nou baie graag gehou. Maar kom ek vra gou vir jou, watse raad sal jy hê vir ons jongspan? Dalk miskien veral vir die meisies wat nou skool gedrop het of dalk miskien matriek uit is en wat jy weet watter kant hulle wil wees. Wat sal jou raad wees vir hulle?
Ek sal wil sê as hulle drome het, hulle moet gaan vir dit. Gaan vir wat hulle wil hê in die lewe en moet laat niemand vir hulle sê nee, julle kan dit nie doen nie, want julle kan dit doen. Want dis hoe ek begin het, ek het gesukkel en kyk waar is ek nou vandag.
Ja, maar niks is net oornaggie, nee.
Ja, alles gevat tyd. Alles vat tyd.
Maar nou ek wil nou nie baie krap nie, maar my punt is nou die om ons nou 'n salon mos nou op die been te bring, maar keer jy mos nou geld. En omdat ons nou in 'n area bly waar nie nou nog eintlik geld is nie, hoe het jy dit dan nou toe reg gekry om nou jou salon mooi op die been te bring?
Ons die owner van die plek, Entius, ek het na hom toegekom vir hom gevra. Ek het begin so 'n deposit, die helfte van die deposit het ek begin. En vandag as ek klaar betaal en dis soos in die equipment wat ek koop. Ons koop maar so klein by die Chinese winkels, sal ons sê. Ek koop ek my 'n plekkie spray daar, bietjie silikonie en so gaan ons maar aan die dag.
Wel, en ek moet vir julle sê, ek is eintlik 'n bietjie beïndruk oor wat sy sê, is die feit dat sy het nie dit gehad nie. So sy het dit deposito nodig gehad en sy moes dit nou gaan leen. En julle weet, dis nie enige iemand wat 'n mens help met 'n leen storie nie. En daar is sy vandag klaar gebetaal. 8 maande later, verbeel jou, sjoe, dis gou, né? Maar nou Tanya, Weet jy, ek sien dan nou ook hier, ons is hier te doen met plante en aan die ander kant agter my is ook 'n plant. Maar ek voel nogal, dit is nogal regte plante. Ek het gedog, dis daai plastiek plante.
Nee, ons opereer met plastic.
Nee, dis lekker, is te oulik en pragtig. Nou hare, as ek nou kom ek sê nou vir jou, ek wil hê my hare doen. Maar ek is eintlik een wat nog veel latynkies het om te doen met my hare nie. En my hare is miskien kort soos jou. Nou, wat sal jy gou met my hare doen?
Jy sal dit net gou was en blou en dit gaan ons gou 10 minute en maak dit mooi. Vra vir die kliënte sê tevrede, ja. Happy sappy kliënt.
So jy het daarom raad wat jy ook vir hulle kan gee voor die tyd en na die tyd miskien?
Ja.
Okay. Hoor julle nou, sy sê net ja. Ja, soos Kama sê. Maar Tanya, ek sê vir jou baie dankie. Dit was lekker om met jou te gesels en mag alles vir jou net vorentoe nog goed gaan met die genade van God. Ek sê vir jou dankie. En so sê my gas natuurlik Tanya Williams. Tot volgende keer. Mooi bly. Ek is Abida Dixon Mohammed. Totsiens. Assalamu alaikum.